Good morning, class. Today we will learn some basic concepts of differentiation and integration. As you can see in your screen, the first formula is y equal to x raised to the power n, and this is for algebraic function. We know it very well. So for this we have learned that dy over dx is written in this form, that d upon dx of x raised to the power n, and this is equal to n x raised to the power n minus 1. Example for such case may be like y equal to x raised to the power 5, then dy over dx will be written as 5 into x raised to the power 5 minus 1. Here you can say that your n is 5, okay, and this is the form related with n x raised to the power n minus 1 formula. Second thing we will learn, that is differentiation of trigonometric function. Okay, so trigonometric function you can check like we have y equal to sin x. For this formula we have dy over dx equal to d upon dx of sin x, and this is equal to cos x. You have to remember this, okay. I mean to say that dy over dx of sin x is cos x. These are the formulas and you have to remember these formulas. Then we have differentiation of cos x. Differentiation of cos x, this thing is written as minus sin x. This is our second formula. Third formula is, if your function is y equal to 10x, then its differentiation will be sec square x, another trigonometric ratio. Then we have our function y equal to cot x. For this we have formula that differentiation of cot x is minus cosec square x. You have to remember all these differentiation formula. Then if you have your function like y equal to sec x, then its differentiation is written as dy over dx of sec x equal to sec x into 10x. Then we have next formula, that y equal to cosec x. For this we have formula that dy over dx of cosec x is minus cosec x into cot x. Then again one more function we have, that is logarithmic function, and for this we have formula that differentiation of log x is 1 by x. Then you can say that exponential function is e raised to the power x. Differentiation of such exponential function is given by dy over dx equal to e raised to the power x. Then next topic we have to understand, this is called maxima and minima concept. Now suppose if you have your x-axis like this and then you have your y-axis, okay, then if you have any curve like this one, okay, and this curve has value maximum at a, as we can see that at a particular value of x, that is x1, our function has value that is maximum. Then at another value of x2, our function has a value that is minimum. Now why it is minimum? Because this value lies somewhere here on y-axis and this value lie somewhere here. Okay, this is your maximum answer for y and this is your minimum answer of y at x1 and x2. Then you have to notice this thing, that at maximum value, if I will ask you to make a tangent line, suppose this is your function and I am saying that at this maximum value you have to plot a straight line or tangent line, then you know how to plot a tangent line. This line should touch only this graph at a single point. then you will notice that the angle made by this line with the horizontal x-axis is 0 degree, or you can say its slope is how much? That slope is 0 degree. Okay, for any graph, dy over dx is called slope of the graph. Here we will understand then why this is called slope of the curve. Now suppose this is your x-axis and this one is your y-axis, and suppose if we have a graph like this one, a straight line, then suppose if I say that this is value of x, or let me say that this is graph of y equal to 3x, or you can say this is a graph of a straight line, then in that case how you will plot this graph? It will be plotted like this one. Then x equal to 1, your y will be 3, and x equal to 2, say your y will be 6. Okay, so I am saying that this is your first point A and this one is your second point or final point B. Coordinate of A are 1, 3 and coordinate of B are 2, 6. Then from A to this point, say this point is C, and B to this point, these two length, this length is called dy and this length is called dx. Why? Because it is x2 minus x1, and this is called dy because this point is y2 which is 6 over here, and this point is called y1 which is 3. So y2 minus y1 is called dy. Now if I ask you that how much is this slope theta, then you will say that slope of graph tan theta equal to perpendicular upon base. By trigonometry we have used this formula, and this will be equal to dy over dx because perpendicular is dy, y2 minus y1, and similarly your base is final value of x, that is x2, minus initial value of x, that is x1, and here value of slope is, you can understand, 6 minus 3 upon 2 minus 1, that is 3 by 1, or this value is basically called your slope in a straight line graph. The purpose of taking this illustration is that we have to understand that why your slope is written as dy over dx. I hope you have understood that why we call dy over dx is slope of our graph. From here you can understand. This statement that dy over dx is called slope is true for all conditions, not only in case of a straight line but in case of any kind of curve. So here we have one more thing that is called maxima and minima. This is a new concept. Now try to understand what is it. In maxima and minima concept, we have to tell that where our curve will give maximum value and at which point our curve or graph will give minimum value. You can see that your curve has reached up to a maximum value at this particular value of x1. I mean to say that at x equal to x1, your y is maximum. Why it is maximum? Because we can see that from graph at this value of x1, your y has this much value y2, and which is the highest value of this graph. Similarly, we can say that at x equal to x2, value of graph is this one, red dotted line. Say this is y1. At x equal, your y is minimum. And if I ask you to plot or to draw a tangent line at point A and B, draw tangent line at A and B, then you will plot these two lines like this one. This is first tangent line and this is your second tangent line. Okay, then this is my question number 1. If I ask you that what is the slope of tangent line, or I can ask you what is the angle made by tangent lines with horizontal, then your answer will be that it is 0 degree, because this tangent line is parallel to x-axis, as well as tangent 2 is also parallel to x-axis. So we can say that our slope is 0 degree, or you can say tan theta is 0 degree, or you can also say that dy over dx equal to 0 degree at maximum and minimum value of y. That's why we call it that at maxima our dy over dx is 0, means our slope is 0. Maxima means at y2, and at minima means minimum value of y, our slope is again 0. But if I ask you what is the double differentiation of slope, that is d2y upon dx2, it is also called rate of change of slope and written as dy over dx, dy dx of dy over dx. Then you will say that at this point your theta is 0 degree, but as soon as you move ahead, your theta becomes like 60 degree. I am just taking an example. It may not be 60, but you can understand that this value is positive. So we can conclude one thing, that if our d2y upon dx2, this value is positive greater than 0, then at this value b, our function has minimum value. And at this point A, you can see as you move ahead, you will see that this particular angle looks like negative angle, or angle made in this fashion. So this angle is called negative angle, or your slope is negative. So you can say that at maximum value, that is A, at maximum value your double differentiation of slope or rate of change of slope is negative, means your slope is changing in negative direction. These two concepts are very useful for us when we will learn new concepts in kinematics. Now we will look for new concept that is called integration. This mathematical concept is also useful for us to solve complex problem of physics. For that, we have to understand its meaning first. Integration is basically used for summation. This sigma is used for summation of discrete values, while this symbol, this is symbol of integration. This integration sign is used for continuous function. If I is integration of function with respect to x, then integration is written as in this form, that integration I equal to, or integral I equal to integration of fx. Also, this concept we will utilize at some time to check our answer, that differentiation of any integral answer gives us original function. So it is called indefinite integral. If we use limit to solve our integration question, then it is called definite integral. Here you will get more clarity when we will solve some question, but before that, try to understand the basic formula of integration. Right now we are going to learn the second formula first. In this formula you can see that it is mentioned that integration of x raised to the power n dx is x raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. For example, if it is asked to you that solve or integrate x raised to the power 5, then your answer will be like integration of x raised to the power 5 dx. Remember, this dx and this symbol is used for solving integration problem. We write it x raised to the power 5 plus 1 upon 5 plus 1, means whatever power is given over here, you have to add 1 to that power, and the same thing you will write in denominator part. Then your answer will be x raised to the power 6 by 6. Now to check this, we have one more thing, that if you differentiate your answer, that is dy over dx of x raised to the power 6 by 6, if you will differentiate your answer, you should get the same function, that is x raised to the power 5. So let's check it. Constant is always written before the function, and we need to differentiate only this thing, and we can write it 1 by 6 into 6 into x raised to the power 6 minus 1, because this is the formula for differentiation. This 6 to 6 will be cancelled out, and you will get your answer x raised to the power 5. So with the help of this example, you got to know that if you integrate any function like x raised to the power 5, then you will get some answer, and if you differentiate that answer like here, then you will get the same function. This formula verifies our statement that differentiation d upon dx of integral value gives us original function. Now we have to study about logarithmic function. As you can see that here some important formula have been mentioned. Like first formula is what? This is the property of log, that any number log a with base b can be, if it is x, then this a can be written as b raised to the power x. I mean to say, if someone writes that log 10 base 2 equal to log 10 base 2 equal to, suppose this is the value which is given by default 0.3010, then you can say that this 2 can be written as 10 raised to the power 0.3010. Okay, this is the property of log. Or instead of this, if someone writes, for example, log 10 base any number, say 3, equal to x, then it means 3 equal to 10 raised to the power x. From here, by solving this, you can calculate value of x. However, such functions are easy to solve with logarithmic. So you can solve this by calculator also, you will get the same expression. Then we have the second property of log, that is log a plus log b equal to log ab. What does it mean? For example, if we have log 5 plus we have another number, say log 4, then it can be written as log 5 plus log 4 equal to log 20, or you can say log 5 into 4 by property of logarithmic. You can see second property is log a plus log b equal to log ab, or log 5 plus log 4 will be log 5 into 4. This is 5, or you can say this is equal to log 20. Suppose by somehow if you get value of log 5 and you get log 4 also, then if you will add both the values, then it will be equal to log 20. Then we have next property, property number 3, that is log a minus log b equal to log a upon b. For example, if it is written that log 20 minus log 4 equal to how much, then we will say that by property of log we can write this thing as log 20 upon 4, or it will become equal to log 5. So from here also you can check that log 20 minus log 4 becomes log 5, or you can say that log 20 equal to log 5 plus log 4. Okay, so basically this final answer, and if you check the previous one, both result are same. This verifies that the second property and third property of logarithmic both are correct. Now we will move on fourth property, that is value of log 1 is 0. Okay, so value of log 1 is always 0 on any base. We have to remember this thing also. Then we have property number 5, that log a raised to the power n equal to n log a. That log a raised to the power n equal to n log a. Suppose if in any question it is given that log 10 raised to the power 2, then you can write it 2 log 10. Okay, so these are properties. Power always mentioned before the logarithmic function. Then we have log x. However, this property is not that much useful for you. Okay, so just leave this one, or you can understand that log a base x is equal to reciprocal of log x base a. Okay, or you can understand this is base a and second is base x. And seventh property you have to remember that value of log 10 is this much. On base e, remember, on base e log 10 is this much, and on the same base it is 1. Okay, here also this the same thing is mentioned, that log 10 is 1 on the same base. In fact, everything like exponent function e also has the value 1 on the same base. or here it is mentioned that log a. It means to say instead of 10 you can take any number. A means any variable, any number, and that thing will be equal to 1. Like log 5, if someone asks you what is value of log 5, if base is 5, then your answer will be 1. And one more thing you have to remember, that negative of logarithmic is not defined. Okay, no negative number can have any logarithmic value because it is not defined. Okay, so this is all for today, and in the next lecture we will start our first chapter, that is physical world. Thank you.